Tonight on News 5 Live, Cayo South Area Rep. Julius Espat locks horns with WPC trap. Lawyer letters are sent by both parties. Retiring Senior Police Officer Daniel Arzu. Is he eligible to run for Village Council Chairman? And a new kitchen at Camp Belisario 2 years after we showed you the deplorable state of the facility. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Boy, fresh already for Father's Day.
Father's Day? Why you not got no picnic?
I talk about the Benny's Father's Day Fest. You know hear about that?
That what that? Why tell me about this?
On June 18th at Benny's Superstore, Belize City, it's the first ever Benny's Father's Day Fest. It's a 3-in-1 all-day free event. The Benny's 100-cart race, where different racers will compete to claim the top prize and to also see who will become the champion. But wait, popping deals for that. Up to 25% off. And to end off the day, free concert featuring the top artists in Belize like
The one and only Jacobs.
This is Kyle O'Neal.
This is your girl, Yas Talia. This is Denise Castillo.
Yo, this is Super G, the General. The thing I sell off, make sure no come out.
June 18, mark your calendar. It's probably on your phone right now, man.
Dale, the man not the lie, watch the thing, yeah?
Sure.
Why?
Benny's Father's Day Fest.
The Concacaf Nations League 2022 is ready to kick off. On Thursday, June 2nd at 4 p.m., your Belize Jaguars will host the Dominican Republic at the FFB Stadium in Belmopan. And after going on the road to play Guatemala on June 5th, they will be back on home turf on Thursday, June 9th as they take on the French Guyana national team at the FFB Stadium at 4 p.m. Catch all the action live from Belmopan on Channel 5 and on our News 5 Facebook page, June 2nd and June 9th, starting at 4 p.m. Let's support and cheer for our national team, the Belize Jaguars, as they get the ball rolling for this year's Concacaf Nations League Tournament.
Staying connected with your loved ones while traveling is even more important during this global pandemic. With Digi, this is even easier and more convenient with our data roaming plans. Postpaid customers have instant access to mobile data when in 41 destinations worldwide. With 3 affordable plans, starting at only $28, it's easy to instantly connect via your favorite digital platform. To purchase your data roaming plan, contact Digi before your travel date. If you are already abroad, you can contact us via email at digihelp@livedigi.com or via WhatsApp at 608-8888. For more information, visit our website at livedigi.com/digicell or visit a Digi store near you. You can roam, stay safe, and stay connected with Digi.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, June 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. The events of Sunday morning in Tea Kettle Village, during which there was a verbal exchange between Cayo South Area Representative Julius Espat and Woman Police Constable Alicia Trapp, continues to gain traction in the news. The tiff happened while both individuals were standing in front of the primary school where village council elections were being held. In the wake of that incident, the Belize Police Department is investigating what appears to be a breach of its rigid social media policy, following a Facebook Live post that was made by the irate officer. Earlier today, the law firm of Elrington and Company wrote to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams and Attorney General Magali Marin Young requesting an update on a complaint made against Espat for allegedly physically and verbally attacking WPC Trapp. That letter was immediately followed by another dispatch to Compostable Williams and the AG in respect of Trapp's constitutional rights as it pertains to her engagement in political activities. Going back to the altercation, News 5 spoke by phone earlier today with United Democratic Party Chairman Mike Perifete, who weighed in on the matter. Here's what he shared with us.
It's not good. I don't think that it is proper to berate a police officer simply because she is wearing red or she's speaking to someone who is affiliated with a political party on a particular polling day. I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what happened. But based on what we've been told and based on the expressions by the police officer, I believe her. And I think that she was just simply there to exercise her franchise to vote, to exercise her right to be there. And simply because of the color she was wearing and who she was speaking to, she was basically attacked by members from the Cayo South PUP people. So I don't approve that at all, and we stand fully behind the police officer.
Senior Counsel Andrew Marshalek, who is representing Cayo South Area Rep Julius Espat, has since responded to Elrington's letter. In the letter addressed to WPC Alicia Trapp, Marshalek accuses her of causing attorney Orson Elrington to publish a false statement that, for all intents and purposes, defames his client, Minister of Infrastructure Development and Housing, Julius Espat. The statement in reference purportedly indicates that PC Trapp was in Tea Kettle Village when she was verbally and physically assaulted by Minister Espat. Marshalek notes that while WPC Trapp claims to have several witnesses ready to testify on her behalf, Espat is in possession of images and videos revealing Trapp's behavior. Furthermore, the letter goes on to say that Espat has hundreds of eyewitnesses ready to testify that there was no verbal or physical exchange as Trapp claims. The letter demands that Trapp issues an immediate apology and direct the publication of a further statement retracting that falsehood. WPC Alicia Trapp is being investigated by the Professional Standards Branch for an alleged breach of the police department's social media policy. The allegation against WPC Trap is that she violated standard procedures when she took to Facebook to air out her grievances over a reported altercation with Cayo South Area Representative Julius Espat. While Espat has confirmed that he, in fact, engaged the officer that day, her decision to go live on Facebook is a clear violation, according to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams. Notwithstanding that infraction, WPC Trap is not the first officer to be accused of breaching the department's social media policy. Back in February 2021, similar accusations were levied against WPC Aaliyah Wade and Chantel Berry. Following their victory in a claim against the Belize Police Department, Channel 5 invited both officers to speak about their ordeal on the Open Your Eyes morning show. Following the interview, WPC Wade received a letter from Internal Affairs reprimanding her for violating the department's social media policy. In that case, both officers were found guilty by a disciplinary tribunal. They were fined $150 each, which were to be paid in 2 installments. In both instances, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams reiterated the expectation that members of the department are to adhere to the disciplinary structures of the organization. Also on Sunday, while electioneering in Kettle, there was a physical altercation between a supporter of the People's United Party and UDP Vice Chairman Alberto August. August was holding up a placard when the woman shoved the sign in his face. Police quickly got involved in the fracas and diffused the tension. But was the vice chairman equally wrong for responding in the manner in which he did? That's what we asked Chairman Mike Perfeet this afternoon. He says they were both at fault.
In terms of the assault on Vice Chairman August, I saw a tape. I gave an interview earlier to another radio station and TV station, and I had said very clearly that I would need to see the tape and I would need to speak to the vice chair, and then I would make a decision on it in terms of my own opinion on the matter. I said at that time that if I saw the video and I think that the vice chair was wrong and out of order, I would not support him. I would not be backing him. I have seen the tape, and to be honest with you, when I look at the tape, I think they were both wrong. I don't think that the vice chair should have responded when he was assaulted, but there was no doubt that when he held up his sign, the lady should not have hit that sign and pushed it in his face. And it is an unfortunate incident that we see happening there, because that should not be happening. All the time we're on opposite sides in an election race, and there's always back and forth. There's always shouting, but it's always in good spirit. To see a flare up like that, it's never a good thing to see. And I think when I look at it, both of them should not have done what they did. But when you look at it, the young lady, I don't even know her, but she had no reason, in my view, to hit that sign and try to push it in Alberto's face. And I don't think that Alberto should have reacted the way he did. But in that moment, things get heated and sometimes your emotions get the best of you. It doesn't mean that we like it. It's not a good look, but I think that they both should not have done what they did.
Senior Superintendent of Police Daniel Arzu is retiring from the police department and entering politics at the village council level. He remains in the force until he is officially pensioned off, and according to the Commissioner of Police, that date is quickly approaching. Yet and still, Arzu has already been nominated as an independent candidate in the upcoming village council election for Georgetown, his home village. So, is Senior Superintendent Daniel Arzu in breach of the public service regulations? News 5's Paul Lopez takes a closer look.
Senior Superintendent Daniel Arzu's candidacy in the village council election for Georgetown has come under scrutiny. Arzu is vying to become the next chairman of that community. But as a career police officer, there is the question of whether or not Arzu can lawfully participate in the election as a candidate. Section 61 of the Public Service Regulations clearly outlines what elections public officers are prohibited from actively participating in.
The Public Service Regulations deals with the established officers, and it's very clear in Section 61 of the regulations. It speaks about public officers being able to participate in, or not being able, to participate in certain elections, mainly elections that fall under the Representation of the People's Act, elections that fall under the municipal different acts, the Town Councils Act, Village City Council Act, and the Belmopan City Council Act. It does not specify Village Council Act. So how that has been interpreted is that they can participate as candidates in a village council election.
And so, in accordance with that section of the Public Service Regulations, public officers are not prohibited from taking part in village council elections. A subsequent section, however, does make a distinction pertaining to active participation in matters that are of a party political nature.
However, under 62, it lists other regulations that govern public officers in reference to party politics. And it's very specific, especially 62I, subsection I, says that public officers cannot participate or engage in party political matters. So there are two very clear regulations there. So to answer your question whether they can participate as a candidate in a village council election, yes, they can, because village councils are, by their very nature, they should be neutral, no? But whether they are going to be participating in party political matters, then that is specifically restricted under 62.
Arzu's participation in the village council election for Georgetown is therefore permitted, according to Minister Henry Charles Usher's interpretation of the regulations. That is because Arzu is running as an independent candidate.
So then, if a public officer, an established public officer, wants to participate in any elections, a village council election, they would have to do so as an independent candidate.
Correct. They are not forbidden from participating as candidates because the general nature of village council is that they are neutral. But when they start to engage in party political matters, then that is specifically forbidden under the second section, or 62.
And on Monday, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told reporters that Senior Superintendent Arzu is proceeding with pre-retirement leave and will be out of the police department by the time the village council election is held. Compostable Williams also argued that Arzu is not aligned with any political party.
Mr. Arzu is proceeding on pre-retirement leave very shortly. For the most part, if he were to be elected the chairman of Georgetown, he would not be a police officer, he would be out by then. That's one. Two, he is not aligned with any political party. He is running as an independent in the village of Georgetown. So there is a clear distinction there when it comes to both individuals. So I can't see how we can compare the two at all.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
What's with all the partisan politics overwhelming the village council elections? After all, it should be a democratic exercise, free of red, blue, and any other political hue. But that hasn't been the case. Despite being at the lowest level of local government, village council elections have been overrun by party politics. Here's a perspective from UDP Chairman Mike Perry-Feed.
Politics is what it is. I have laid down the rules and regulations as to what we do or don't do, but then it's up to the people as well when they're running. Some people are proud PUP, some people are proud UDPs, and they want to display their allegiance. So even though when they're elected, they're not elected on a political platform to say that. But if people want to express freely that they are members of the UDP or the PUP, then let them do that. This is the freedom of expression. There's nothing wrong with expressing your political colors.
Coming up, Camp Belisario Kitchen gets a much-needed facelift. Stay with us.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For Demas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed. History is filled with the stories of men and women who yielded to the passions of the flesh and experienced some love affair that cost them their marriage, their children, their wealth, their reputation, and often their friends and faith. However, there is another affair that is even more devastating. It is a costly love affair with the world. Such was the case of a man called Demas. His affair was not with another woman, but with the world, the number one enemy of the soul. He was supposed to shun the world and not be entangled with or controlled by it. Who could possibly believe that the pleasure the world offers outweighs the price that you pay? I'm reminded of a shipwrecked sailor who spent 3 years on a deserted island. He was overjoyed one day to see a ship drop anchor in the bay. A small boat came ashore and an officer handed the sailor a bunch of newspapers and then said to the sailor, "I suggest that you read what is going on in the world and then let us know if you want to be rescued." A man once said to D.L. Moody, "Now that I am converted, have I got to give up the world?" Mr. Moody answered, "No, you don't have to give up the world, but if you have a good ringing testimony for the Son of God, the world will give you up pretty quickly. They will not want you around. Be careful that you don't have a costly love affair with this world." Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Belize Tropical Hemp Company Limited introduces its new CBD products. CBD milk chocolate and CBD dark chocolate. Vegan, gluten-free with no GMO. CBD oil, 100% natural, provides many health benefits such as relieving pain and anxiety and improved heart health. Hemp cigarettes come in a pack of 10 natural hemp smokables. CBD seaweed, natural and refreshing, rich in vitamins and minerals. All products are produced and packaged by Belize Tropical Hemp Company Limited.
Medriva is the safest and most reliable taxi service 24/7 countrywide. Get to your destination on time. No more calling. Just pin your location or schedule your ride and a Medriva driver will be at your doorstep. Whether you're going to work or picking up a loved one, there are 3 categories to choose from: budget, economy, Island Lux. Try our services today and earn loyalty points on each ride to get cashback deals on your next ride, or sign up to be a Medriva driver. Just be sure to have your police record on hand. Transportation services at your fingertips. Download the app today. Medriva, opening doors to new opportunities.
Today, the Belize Defense Force officially inaugurated its newly refurbished kitchen at Camp Belisario in the Cayo district. It was once in a deplorable condition. With filth building up, the kitchen where soldiers generally had their meals was quite unsanitary. The new facility will now provide a space for soldiers to gather and for meetings to be held. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Back in June 2020, this was the state of the kitchen at Camp Belisario in Central Farm. It was unhygienic and unhealthy. Still, the officers posted there would consume meals prepared inside the kitchen. It had been that way for years, with the former BDF commander saying that the area was damaged and that there was need for serious repairs. 2 years later, the military camp now boasts a new kitchen and building.
The makeshift kitchen that we had in place to feed the men was close to as large as the space. So the first thing is the expansion of the area that we'll be feeding the men and providing meals from. We were using a very small building at the back of the same existing building. The building gives us the opportunity now to do our butchering, our storage, our dining, and also our preparation of the meals all in one. And it still has extra offices for our quartermasters that administrate approximately 90 men at a time with their goods and services that they require in respect to logistics.
Minister of National Security Florencio Marin Jr. tells News 5 that the project, which started back in November 2021, enhances the living conditions and better supports the welfare of the soldiers of the Belize Defense Force.
A lot of what you see is what we've inherited, and we're tight with resources, so we're trying to pick the real essential elements where we can have the resources to fix it and as well provide it for the soldiers. You know, I think our ministry, the big thing is welfare of the soldiers, and so whatever we can to ensure that we improve the welfare of our soldiers, we're going to be pushing real hard.
Talk to us about the level of investment. How much did this cost?
This cost less, I believe, a little bit less than about 100,000. You know, again, because it was the structure, overall structure was good, so we just basically needed to clean it out inside. Now, I'm not a contractor, so I can't give you detail, but we could clean it up outside and fix it up so that it is clean and it is healthy for our soldiers, so they could be in a good environment.
But it is more than a kitchen. Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns, the commanding officer at Camp Belisario, says that the upgrade will improve the soldiers' capacity to do their work effectively.
We will see a lot of energy saving, so to speak, because we had been doing all this work in at least 5 different parts of the camp. And so it's going to save us a lot. And again, it's a welcome facility because we've been anticipating its opening for 5 months now. It's also an area that we can bring together our soldiers a little bit more, that synergy, that brotherhood, because we were scattered across the camp feeding them, we were scattered across the camp conducting the administration that we'll now be able to conduct under this one roof.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
While the soldiers will now have a clean and healthy space where their food is being prepared and a place to congregate, this is only one of the buildings that will see infrastructural upgrade. There are still issues with sleeping quarters and bathrooms that are in need of a facelift. And as we found out today, improvements will be made to several other structures at Camp Belisario, which will be facilitated through a loan from CABE, the Central American Bank for Economic Integration.
We have an unlimited amount of work that we need to get done. Now, the officers' quarters, the medical center that is in the background, the communication center, and definitely the sleeping quarters of the soldiers. The ablutions, all of these things, but they cost resources. So we just have to tackle them one by one.
We've had visit from engineers from the CABE project. All the bathroom facilities are cited for renovations of the sort. And sleeping areas. There are 2 sleeping areas, and our headquarters building that's just to the back, that's a zinc building that we're planning to renovate. We hope that those projects get off the ground by around August, September, as that is what the chief engineer from the CABE project had said. So we know the funds are secured. We're just awaiting the drafting of all the plans and so on, which takes a lot of work. It's a lot of bureaucracy behind it, but I know that it's coming, and this is first of the many that we expect to come in the future.
While there are 400 soldiers under his command, Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns says that at any one time, there are about 125 soldiers stationed at Camp Belisario early in the week. After deployment to the borders and other posts, the number drops to about 50 soldiers. In the House on Friday, Prime Minister John Briceño made an appeal to the government of Guatemala for its adherence to the confidence-building measures established with Belize back in 2005. He highlighted persistent challenges with illegal border crossing and cattle ranching along the western border. But what about the southernmost part of the country, the Sarstoon River, where in the past there have been several reported hostilities with the GAF? Today, the Minister of National Security says that for some time now, there have been no incident.
We do have a regular channel of communication, General Loria with the Guatemalans, ourselves, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Those are still in place. I have not recalled any incident because I do know that on a couple of times our ministry have been written for requests for people to go in. We've granted it, and reports came without any incident, and we hope it stays that way.
After the break, still no documents on GOB's arrangement with Courtney Koyi. The UDP Chairman writes to the Governor General seeking disclosure.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Forget the hassle of traveling and waiting in lines.
You can now pay your application fee for temporary employment permits online using eCash.
Simply complete the online application for a temporary employment permit, and when it's time to pay, select the eCash option and pay instantly using your mobile phone.
eCash and the Government of Belize, making life easier.
The best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly, and increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to DigiNet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, our national telecom.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Or you can drop off all completed forms into the Dropbox slot at the nearest branch office. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
The Concacaf Nations League 2022 is ready to kick off. On Thursday, June 2nd at 4 p.m., your Belize Jaguars will host the Dominican Republic at the FFB Stadium in Belmopan. And after going on the road to play Guatemala on June 5th, they will be back on home turf on Thursday, June 9th as they take on the French Guyana national team at the FFB Stadium at 4 p.m. Catch all the action live from Belmopan on Channel 5 and on our News 5 Facebook page, June 2nd and June 9th, starting at 4 p.m. Let's support and cheer for our national team, the Belize Jaguars, as they get the ball rolling for this year's Concacaf Nations League Tournament.
Prime Minister John Briceño, in an interview with the media in Orange Walk last Thursday, gave assurances that his administration would make available various documents that have been requested by UDP Chairman Mike Perfit under the Freedom of Information Act. The opposition senator is seeking copies of all agreements made between the government of Belize and Courtney Koyi LLP, a private law firm owned by fellow senators Eamon Courtney and Christopher Koyi. The Prime Minister's response succeeded a letter written to him by Perfit on May 30th. Notwithstanding a guarantee that the information would be produced, Perfit is still empty-handed and has decided to write to Governor General Forla Salam, since she is said to be aware of the purported dispensation that was granted to Courtney Koyi. Earlier today, Senator Perfit provided a brief update on that request.
Prime Minister has not made those available to me as yet. I wrote that letter on May 24th, and today is June 7th, and no answers have come to me based on my letter. I wrote a subsequent letter May 30th, where I indicated to the Prime Minister that since he said that Courtney Koyi had a special dispensation, that's the word he used, from the Governor General, allowing them to remain in the Senate even though their firm was representing the government. I asked him for documentation to show and prove that the Governor General had indeed done that. That as well has not been forthcoming. I have not received any information on that. Additionally, I asked him in that May 30th letter to give me the letters for all ministers who, if they have their firms or companies engaged with the government, for their documents to be turned over so we can know that they're following the Constitution. And nothing has come to me so far. Today, I wrote to the Governor General herself, kindly asking her to provide me with documentation indicating that she has given permission or that her predecessor had given permission since November 2020 to different ministers for their firms or companies doing business with the government if they have it. So let's see if I get an answer from the Governor General, but so far I have not gotten an answer from the Prime Minister.
What happens if you do not get a response? Either a written response or a satisfactory response in terms of providing these documents to you. What other course of action can be taken?
Well, there's a part in the Freedom of Information Act where I can explore to the Contractor General, and if I don't get any satisfaction from that, or we don't get the documentation, then we can go to the court and ask the court to mandate the government to provide it. However, I don't see why we need to go so far. The Prime Minister and the different senators had said that they have nothing to hide. So if they have nothing to hide, they should just produce the documents.
While with the Minister of National Security, Florencio Marin Jr., we asked him to comment on the contract that has been given to his father to sit as an advisor to the Sugar Industry Control Board. The Briceño administration has been catching flack for the opposition for the $36,000 contract to former Deputy Prime Minister and politician Florencio Marin Sr. Marin Jr. says that it is just political criticism.
We can't take our eye off of the real elephant in the room, which is the state of the sugar industry right now between ASR and the farmers. And in my view, who better than a seasoned hand advising the young people, like a young minister who is very capable himself, but I mean, you know, they're not limited to only listening to the young generation, they're listening to all. You have a lot of good people in this ministry. And I think at the end of the day, we all know it is just a political criticism. You know, and I think it didn't hurt that they're not doing too well in the election, so anything to try to spark some storm. So, you know, it's just a political criticism on their part.
Have you been able to speak to your dad about it, how he feels about this?
I have not had the chance because he, just like him, I'm busy as well.
This afternoon here in Belize City, 6 fishermen appeared before the magistrate's court to answer to charges brought by the Fisheries Department for various infractions committed at sea over the weekend. On Sunday, the men were busted during separate operations conducted by fisheries enforcement officers in the areas of Lighthouse Reef and Glover's Reef atolls. The men were found in possession of a number of illegally harvested products, including fish and conch. They were all collectively facing 6-figure fines, approximately $136,000 for the violations they committed. On Monday, Chief Executive Officer Kennedy Carrillo of the Ministry of Blue Economy told us that the recurring issue of illegal fisheries is being dealt with seriously because of the severity of this activity.
The Ministry of the Blue Economy takes this particular bust very seriously because it does demonstrate to us that we have a grave situation in terms of people continuing to engage in illegal fishing. The responsibility of the Ministry of Blue Economy through its Fisheries Department is to ensure that we have sustainable fisheries. And as much as our responsibility is to enforce, our responsibility is also to educate. We know that many of the persons that are engaging in this are very well aware that the activity is illegal, but that is why they go out at 10:30 at night, because they are under the assumption that they are doing it at a time when there are no enforcement officers. But we want people to know that we are taking our responsibility very seriously and that our enforcement officers are there with greater presence than ever before. We're also working with our officers out at the different marine protected areas. In this case, for example, out at Lighthouse Reef, working in coordination with the Coast Guard. It is a massive effort to be able to cut down on this illegal activity. We recognize as a ministry that we're not only an environmental ministry, but really we're an economy ministry. And our responsibility is to be able to move the economy of this country through the use of the responsible and sustainable use of our resources. We also have a responsibility to ensure that we have the enforcement that is necessary out there. Because if we do not have the enforcement, if we do not have the number of convictions that we need to have, then really the activities will continue.
About 3 weeks ago, the Ministry of Blue Economy was up north in Corozal, meeting with fishers from Sartaneja village and other surrounding communities about the amendment to the Fisheries Act as it pertains to lobsters. Also attending that meeting was Corozal Southeast Area Rep. Florencio Marin Jr. We did not get a chance to speak with him, but today he spoke to News 5 about his role in dialoguing with the fishers in his constituency and about the politics that was at play during the public meeting in Sartaneja.
I do have a stake in it, so to speak. As you've heard me mention there, I have committed to the fishermen over the course of this year to consult with them individually, as groups, by association, to get a full grasp of the issues that they are facing. These issues didn't just arrive lately. These are long-standing issues. So my hope is to hit the ground and talk to them one-on-one and have a frank discussion with each one of them. You know, for us to be able to come to some way that I can then speak with the minister and tell him, well, at least this is what's happening in Medriva. He sets a policy. So that's not what I'm going with. At least let him know this is what we're feeling in our division. It was clearly operatives trying to see how they could, turn this process into what it is not. And I mean, and if you notice, they picked up the issue just before the village council elections. And have you seen them acting out at this moment in time? They're not. So from their perspective, they took a very serious issue and tried to insert politics in it.
When we return, more police security outside of nightclubs. Stay with us.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Hello, welcome to Samsung's awesome experience right here in Belize. Come check it out. Not sure which Samsung Galaxy A series is right for you? Touch, play, and learn about your device before you buy. Once you've purchased your device, you can now benefit from the full Samsung service experience. Your phone is covered by a 1-year local warranty. This includes manufacturer defects and software and hardware issues caused by the manufacturer. Enjoy your phone with peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy is protected. And when your warranty expires, you can still bring it to our certified Samsung Repair Center. Our technicians will diagnose and repair your device with Samsung original parts and machinery. Enjoy the Samsung experience when you shop at any of our authorized partners countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Odette's Home Center, The Barry, Tropigas, and Quartz. Join the Samsung experience in Belize today.
Compostable plastics. To understand what a compostable plastic is, we need to know that composting is a natural way to recycle decomposed organic material like oranges or banana peels. So, a compostable plastic is similar to the banana peel in the sense that it also undergoes biological decomposition in a compost site and doesn't leave any toxic residue. In fact, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass at a similar rate of compostable materials. This is great because once properly disposed of, compostable plastic food packaging would be broken down in a manner much kinder to the environment compared to plastics. The recycled materials would return to Earth quickly and safely as soil when disposed of in the right environmental conditions and temperatures. It's important to note that for decomposition to occur, all compostable products must reach a sanitary landfill, where there is proper management of the waste through disposal and treatment. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the daily obituaries. The daily obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The daily obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's daily obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Last weekend was a relatively quiet weekend when it comes to major crimes. There were no murders to report on, so much so that Director of Communications for the Belize Police Department, Fitzroy Yearwood, was not needed at Monday's press conference to brief the media. We asked the Commissioner of Police what are the mitigating factors being attributed to the recent decrease in major crime reports across Belize City. This is what he had to say.
Certainly there's a lot being done by the police, and as you know, we have the multi-sectorial approach to fighting crime, where we now have the input from different organizations, particularly on Southside Belize City. We also have the ongoing basketball tournaments with the different groups in Belize City and the Belize District by extension. And we believe that the efforts of everybody on the grounds, including the police officers who are policing the different areas, is bearing fruits. We're not going to celebrate as yet. There is still a lot of work to be done. There are still many ongoing tensions with different groups in the city that we try to deal with. But what we try to do as best as we can is to utilize the LIU in conducting interventions. As we hear of some issues between two different parties or a group, then we would normally send LIU in to bring them to the table, see what the issues are, and try to resolve it. That, along with the basketball tournament, which serves as a form of intervention through sports, is helping. We have the efforts being done by the Department of Youth Services and even the Ministry of Education in terms of looking at providing educational opportunities for those youths on Southside Belize City is helping. In the near future, we're looking at taking some of these guys to Belize City, not to Punta Gorda Town, for somewhat of a retreat. And then we're also going to sign very shortly the MOU between the police and a private citizen in respect to 25 acres of land by the Ravens Ridge area that will be used for farming by these young men again. And then we have the activity we're planning for Mountain Pine Ridge with them. So there's a lot we're doing with these youths that view to see how we can bring them to the table and try to diffuse their issues in a way that is not going to bring violence, as opposed to them taking a gun and try to resolve issues, and when in fact that only make the issues worse.
The Commissioner of Police says he takes issue with the practice of police officers providing security at nightclubs. It is not the first time that Compal Williams is voicing his position on this practice. This time around, he made a statement in light of Friday night's incident at Thirsty Thursday. In his comments, he spoke about the need for greater vigilance by security personnel at the entrance of these establishments. He added that there is a need for frequent evaluations of nightclubs to ensure that their operations are free of any human trafficking violations.
I have a serious issue with police officers working at these nightclubs. If I have an issue with nightclubs. To me, too much things happen at nightclubs that should not happen in life. But that's my lifestyle. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go to parties. So perhaps that's the reason why I think that way. Be that as it may, though, if it is that we're going to continue to have our officers working at nightclubs, then certainly they need to do more in terms of making sure that, one, law and order is maintained, and two, that persons who are entering these nightclubs, that something is done to determine or to prevent illicit items to be taken in to those nightclubs, as well as to make sure that activities do not occur within these nightclubs that should not happen. We know that we do have the human trafficking situation, and many of these nightclubs do operate in a certain way. And when you would look at it, there would be some elements of human trafficking. And so we need to make sure that we assess these places, and where we have officers working, that there is not one iota of human trafficking taking place at these establishments. And once that is the case, then we will pull our officers from there and we will make recommendations to the liquor licensing board to have those licenses revoked.
Compostable Williams recently returned from a working trip to Lyon, France. He was there for an Interpol working group conference. We asked him about his trip and how it will add value to policing in Belize. Here is what he told us.
The trip to France, as well as the one to the Bahamas, was working visits, and there's a lot that was garnered from those two trips. In France, basically, we just looked at the amending the constitution of Interpol to try to make it more workable for member states, as well as to make sure that it is aligned with international law and our domestic laws. So it was the meeting of the governing group of Interpol that met in Lyon, France. I was happy to be a part of that group to look at these very important aspects of the work that Interpol does on a daily basis. And so we have made certain recommendations for amendments, and those recommendations will be further discussed in Singapore in September.
Just ahead, fewer forest fires this year, says FCD.
Live and let live mean to you?
Live and let live means that I can be a mother and have a career.
It means treating people the way you would want to be treated.
And making sure your business is accessible for all Belizeans.
It means that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
It means to love your children no matter what.
It means to support people who face discrimination.
It means that men and women should be treated equally at work.
It means that everyone is able to contribute to building Belize.
It means saying no to all forms of discrimination.
It means love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Nexgen, the ultimate digital experience.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button, where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
The Concacaf Nations League 2022 is ready to kick off. On Thursday, June 2nd at 4 p.m., your Belize Jaguars will host the Dominican Republic at the FFB Stadium in Belmopan. And after going on the road to play Guatemala on June 5th, they will be back on home turf on Thursday, June 9th as they take on the French Guyana national team at the FFB Stadium at 4 p.m. Catch all the action live from Belmopan on Channel 5 and on our News 5 Facebook page, June 2nd and June 9th, starting at 4 p.m. Let's support and cheer for our national team, the Belize Jaguars, as they get the ball rolling for this year's Concacaf Nations League tournament.
What's going on in the Chicky Bull? While at Camp Belisario today, News 5 caught up with Rafael Manzanero, the Executive Director of Friends for Conservation and Development. As you know, they co-manage the Chicky Bull forests in the west and work closely with the Forestry Department, the Institute of Archaeology, BDF, and the police to maintain the integrity of the natural and cultural resources of the Chicky Bull forests. The issues affecting this area primarily surround incursions by Guatemalan poachers who continue to pillage the forests. Manzanero says that for some time now, one of the major threats along the border with Guatemala is cattle ranching. But cattle ranching aside, back in 2020, forest fires damaged a little over 22,000 acres of forests in three protected areas: Vaca Forest Reserve, Caracol Archaeological Reserve, and the Chicky Bull National Park. Manzanero says that the early rains have helped to prevent any major forest fires this year.
The main activity that we have been watching over the most recent weeks was the implications for forest fires in the area. And of course the ongoing activity of cattle ranching, which is still one of those major threats along the western border. Thankfully for this year, because of the rains that really have come in much more earlier than anticipated, we did not really have had any major forest fires in the area, including Vaca, because Vaca is right along the western border too. So we are really thankful that we did not really have any major forest fires this year. And from what it looks, the weather is already changing. So pretty much that won't really be any serious problem for now.
Infrastructure works continue along the Caracol Road from Georgeville through the Chicky Bull Forest. While the works are still concentrated at this time in the Pine Ridge, FCD Executive Director Rafael Manzanero worries that when completed, it will give access to not only those engaged in illegal activities in the Chicky Bull, but human footprint in the mountain Pine Ridge.
Once it is moving more further inside, of course, that will create more access. In advance of time, we, along with the Forestry Department, have instituted already rangers also in the Baldy Beacon area, which is going to be one of those access that can lead people to reach to the eastern flank of the Chicky Bull National Park. So way in advance, what we have started to do, and that basically has been over 1.5 years of planning and coordination with the Forest Department, was really to institute a human presence for patrols and surveillance up in that area, because yes, there will be more human activity, there's going to be more of the human footprint, and we already know that an increase of hunters and other visitation is already occurring along the mountain Pine Ridge, and so yes, it certainly will have an impact as it evolves even more further into the Chicky Bull zone.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.